like you said, there's a battle going on here. So going back to the battle, uh, you got Blake Bell, who's back. You've got Nick Kaiser, who I think he's injured right now because I haven't
Yeah.
really heard anything from him in training camp. So uh, Nick Kaiser kind of had a bad rap last year with Chiefs fans, but they did sign him to that cheap tender, I believe it was this offseason. So he's going to be back. I don't know if he'll be in the thick of things, but when he's healthy, he might be a guy that gets in there occasionally. But I think Noah Gray is here to supplant that, and I think I think Noah Gray is going to be able to move into that tight end 2 spot. Blake Bell, the better blocker, but I think Noah Gray is going to be that Travis Kelce fill in when Kelce needs a breather.
Yeah, and the versatility with Noah Gray is the first thing you can think of. Like he can play that de facto fullback H back role. You can get him moving around. You can put him out in the slot. You can put him out wide. It remains to be seen kind of what his success will be in those different roles, but he has the ability to do it better than a Blake Bell or a Nick Kaiser. He's a good athlete. He's a guy that I think has wiggle, and that's like the easiest thing to kind of the easiest word to use, I guess. He kind of has that finesse style sometimes. He's not going to overpower anybody. His blocking needs a ton of work. The routes aren't very crisp right now. Don't get me wrong, he's not a, complete product. He was a fifth round pick, like for a reason, and stuff like that happens in the NFL. But based on projection, he projects better than a Blake Bell, projects better than a Nick Kaiser, and Bell, better size, more experience, higher floor to start off the season. I would say probably going to be interesting to see how that battle unfolds. Now, if I had to ask you, Mark, just a random trivia question, how many touchdowns do you think Blake Bell scored in his? I think he's been in the league for 6 seasons now.
Okay, this is kind of funny because as you were talking, I was thinking about a trivia question that somebody asked last year about how many receivers or tight ends or running backs that Mahomes had thrown touchdowns to, and I think Blake Bell was on the list. So I know he at least has one touchdown. I can't think of any others though, so I'll just say one.
Blake Bell has never scored a regular season touchdown in the NFL.
Really?
And I was looking at that and I was like, no way. I thought, like, I checked the columns like 3 or 4 times. Now, it might have been a playoff game because I
Okay.
think I remember Blake Bell scoring a touchdown at some point, whether it was preseason, postseason, regular season, but I looked and I couldn't find anything. So I guess technically, I did set you up for failure because I think we both agree that we didn't both make it up that at some
Yeah.
point Blake Bell was in an end zone as a member of the Chiefs. Like, after catching a ball. It wasn't a celebration. It wasn't like just running around. I can remember him like faintly catching a touchdown at some point.
I want to say it was against the Texans in that game where they scored 54 points, but I don't have
That
that.
could have been.
I don't have that stat line here, so I can't say that for 100% sure. But I have a feeling like I think that was it, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll have to look that up later.
Yeah. So needless to say, Blake Bell's production hasn't been anything
Yeah.
spectacular. When he was with the Chiefs in 2019, everyone was excited for what he could offer. He had 8 receptions, 67 yards in the regular season, went to Dallas, 11 receptions, 110 yards. I think a guy like Noah Gray could eclipse both of those this season. Like I could see Noah Gray catching 15 balls for more than a 67 yards or 110, something like that. And Nick Kaiser, he's on the non-football injury list right now. I didn't know that until I believe Saturday is when I found out. 6 catches on 9 targets last season. Not an extremely reliable guy. Like it kind of sucked because the limited sample size was bad enough to where people like kind of dragged on him. Like he didn't really see the field all that much, but when he was on the field, it wasn't great. So he was the exclusive rights free agent. It just made sense for the team to bring him back. It was essentially for free. Likely nothing more than a special teams option. I think we both agree that he doesn't really factor into the backup tight end picture primarily. So ultimately, it's going to come down to the rookie versus the veteran. And we know what Blake Bell can give the Chiefs, and it's not a whole lot, but it also isn't bad backup tight end play. Like, it's not a Demetrius Harris thing where he's going to make some plays, but then some boneheaded ones. He's just pretty consistently Blake Bell. Noah Gray, I like potential he has in the Chiefs offense. And I don't know if it's going to take 2 years, 3 years, 2 months, 1 month, week one, like coming out of the gate, getting featured in the offense. But I think he's a guy that I'm definitely watching. And, it could all be smoke from the Chiefs training camp and throughout the offseason that he's picking it up and doing well. But I like to believe that maybe there's something there.
Yeah, and it's interesting that, coaches and teammates have been talking him up a little bit too. So that also feeds into the hype. You're like, all right, if, Kelsey's saying that he's looking really good and, playing well, picking things up, then I think that he can do it. If Kelsey's saying, then I feel like he can do it too. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Like you said, Bell's got that veteran leadership, and he's got the playbook down. As what they like to say with the Andy Reid offense. Sometimes it's tough for players to pick it up, but yeah, I think Gray is going to be right there in for that tight end 2 spot. So like you said, Kaiser, I don't think he's really factoring in. I mean, he like you said, 9 targets. Kelsey's getting 100 receptions last year. They're not trying to get Kaiser the ball a ton. So, it's not necessarily his fault that he didn't get more targets, but he wasn't really needed. So that's basically what it comes down to. And if you got somebody like Noah Gray who can get in there and make some more plays, then yeah, he'll just get pushed down the depth chart.